Hey everyone, it is Matt Noss, and we've been reading a lot about extradition and arrests in the news. And I thought it might be helpful to talk a little bit about how things actually work, at least in Washington, when it comes to is there an arrest warrant? Are you going to get arrested for a charge after the fact? And the answer is usually not. Usually, the court will give the person an opportunity to come to court, to show up, and to plead not guilty out of custody. There are some exceptions to that. If the prosecutor is able to show to a court that there's a reasonable likelihood the person's going to commit a violent crime or not show up to court, the court can issue a warrant without any notice ahead of time. But it takes more resources. It's more steps for the prosecutor. It is not a guarantee that the police are going to find the person in any sort of reasonable time period. And so oftentimes the better approach is just to ask them to come to court and then issue a warrant if they don't show up. I would say in 90% of the cases that I typically handle, that's the deal. We show up to court because my client got a notice to appear. Now, sometimes there is an arrest warrant issued in another state, and that's what we've been seeing in the news lately. And that process is more complicated because it takes a process called a governor's warrant, and coordination has to occur between the two states. And that means both states really need to cooperate in order for that to happen in any sort of a reasonable time frame. So, yes, people can be extradited. Yes, people can be arrested for crimes with no previous notice, but that's not usually what happens. So, if you're worried about that, number one, we should probably talk. But number two, it's not likely to happen for anything that's not violent or not really serious. And if you do have questions, please, let's connect. You can reach me at 425-300-5566 or matt@nosslawfirm.com. Be happy to chat. And if we haven't talked for a while, I'd love to reconnect.